The Gong Show won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Mars Attacks. Oh, I love this movie
Me
so
too.
much. I consider it up there with Ed Wood, one of my favorite Tim Burton movies.
I love most of his movies, but this one in particular, it's just such a great throwback to the old disaster movies of the 70s, the Irwin Allen stuff,
Yeah.
and the great, like, bizarre science fiction of the early 60s. And
Oh, yeah. The weirdness, just the absolute weirdness that is 50s and 60s B sci-fi movies.
oh, yeah. And it's just, I feel like it's a very misunderstood movie, and I feel like people just didn't get it at the time. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it was under the shadow of our last movie, which
Yes.
was Independence Day.
It was unfortunate that this was overshadowed by Independence Day. Because it's a brilliant movie. They probably spent a little more money on this than they should have. Because it was going to be a hard sell.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day. But it, it's become a cult classic. People love it. It didn't make the money it should have, but, whatever.
Look,
it got made. That's all that matters.
It did. And I don't know if that would happen today. I don't know if you'd be able to get this movie made.
No, it'd be tough. Or they would, they'd look at it and be like, oh, it's going to cost $400 million, and they wouldn't do it.
And it would all be... It'd look like Aquaman, all CGI.
Yeah. Bad.
Whatever.
They did with the trading cards, they did a new version in like 94. I think it was 94. But they like updated all the stuff, and in the design, it just made it look super generic.
Yeah.
Like the really slick ships and like everything it's just like all this, like Independence Day, all the stuff you see in the mid 90s that are just kind of crap.
Yeah. I mean, that was what was fun about this. It was a unique throwback. The saucers were saucers.
Yeah.
And I love the aliens. They were just such dicks.
They had such good personality. It was so great. So mean. Just mean because they could be.
Everybody in the movie, everybody who was mean in the movie died.
That is true.
And the people that weren't mean lived.
Oh, man, and there were a lot of people that died.
There were. But, you got Richie and his grandma survived because they were heroes.
Yeah.
And my God, Sylvia Sidney was
Yeah.
gorgeous. Have you seen her
Oh,
when
yeah.
she was
Oh,
young?
yeah. She had a great career.
Amazing. I mean, her career was huge in the 30s.
Yeah. She was great. She was absolutely fantastic.
Such an amazing actor. You remember her from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Amazing casting, hilarious script, and just a great satire of,
Yeah.
The idiocy of people and the way people handled the impending invasion. I love the exploiting the hubris and superiority of these idiots.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, they probably don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Giving them all a second or third
How
or
do we
fourth.
know? How do we know that they meant to kill everyone?
Mr. President. Pierce Brosnan's character was just like amazing. I mean, everybody was to a T amazing. I noticed this time that I think Rod Steiger as General Decker nailed it more than anybody. I think
Yeah.
he got that part.
I always liked him in this movie, but until we watched it again, I did not realize just how much I loved him in this movie.
Oh my God, his reaction. I just watched him in the background.
Yes,
constantly.
You had to, because he was always doing something interesting.
And to have those giant shades that cover his, I mean, everything about him was covered, and yet you knew exactly what emotion was coming.
Yeah.
It was
He's
just,
such a phenomenal actor.
just a hilarious send-up of the government. Hilarious. I mean, the Sarah Jessica Parker character, Natalie Leak, could be an influencer today. It was just that same, and that dog was an amazing actor.
The dog did a great job.
Chihuahua should have deserved an Oscar for its amazing portrayal.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take yourself back to 1996.
Nice.
July 5th, Dolly the sheep, the first mammal to be successfully cloned from an adult cell, is born at the Roslin Institute in Midlothian, Scotland, in the UK.
Oh, man, that was so crazy. Everybody was losing their mind.
Yeah, it was like, we're going to have clones all the way, everywhere, all the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, the right went nuts With,
I'm sure.
Oh, we're going to clone babies and people, and they're going to be animal-human hybrids running the earth.
You would think the right would be happy about that, because there'd just be more people that they could pull into their fold.
You don't play God, Adam.
Oh, well.
That's God's game.
Right. September 24th, U.S. President Bill Clinton signs the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty at the United Nations.
That's right. I was out there, and I was looking for some ladies, and just said, hey, I think I'll sign this treaty. Because I like ladies.
It's the best place to go look for ladies is the United Nations.
He's so gross.
He is.
I do not like him anymore.
No, I really enjoyed the 90s during his presidency. I felt like the country was going on the right track.
Yeah.
But he was a slime ball.
Oh, as a human being, he's a piece of ass.
Yeah.
But good president.
Good president. November 25th, an ice storm strikes the U.S., killing 26 directly and hundreds more from accidents. A powerful windstorm blasts Florida with wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour.
Goodness.
Yeah. December 13th, Mars Attacks is released in theaters. Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, baby.
So Mars Attacks actually starts with Alex Cox, director of Repo Man and Sid and Nancy.
2 great movies.
2 fantastic movies. Shortly after he hit it big with Repo Man in '84, he pitched the idea of a film based on the Mars Attacks trading card series as a joint production to Orion and TriStar Pictures. He wrote 3 drafts over the next 4 years, but was replaced by Martin Amis?
Amos?
Amos?
Like Susie Amiss, isn't it? Amiss, I guess.
Martin Amiss before Orion and TriStar placed Mars Attacks in turnaround, meaning that they essentially kept the rights to it, but stuck it in a bin somewhere.
Development hell is it's sometimes referred to, but it usually, films in turnaround disappear.
Yeah. The Mars Attacks trading card series was released in 1962, telling the story of a Martian invasion over 55 horrific cards.
I'll tell you, though, I would have loved to see Alex Cox's version of Mars Attacks.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been hard R.
Oh, yeah. Yes. No. It would have been cuddly and cute. The cards proved popular with children, but depictions of explicit gore and implied sexual content caused an outcry, leading the company to halt production.
Of course.
Yeah. The cards have since become collector's items, with certain cards commanding over $3,500 at auction.
It doesn't matter what it is, comic books, trading cards, video games, records. Parents are going to freak the F out.
I will say, you can go to archive.org and you can find the original 55 cards, plus 11 cards they never released, which were even more messed up.
Oh, wow.
But the cool thing about it, you can read the backs, you can see them, they look great, they're very high quality. For 1962, I'm a little surprised they were released.
Well, things were different. I mean, look, there was like the comics code.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a ton of protection for children in terms of content in the 60s.
Yeah, right.
Just like kids it's like they treated kids more like adults, or like they had, more sense than to, But then once they figured out that it's the sex stuff, Adam, not the violence that
I know. Well, that was the big thing, is that there was a couple of cards where, like, giant bugs were essentially ripping clothes off of women. There's no nudity or anything.
Of course.
But it was heavily implied that there was some sexy stuff going on.
Well, you can't have that. You can have as much violence as you want in this country, Adam, but as soon as you show a nipple, it's time for everybody to freak the F out.
That's the most scarring thing in the world.
Lady Nips, the scourge of the United States.
In 1993, Jonathan Gems, a screenwriter who had previously written multiple unproduced screenplays for director Tim Burton, approached the director and pitched the idea of turning both Mars Attacks and Dinosaurs Attack into movies.
Yeah, this is before Jurassic Park, right?
Yes. Dinosaurs Attack was a set of 55 trading cards released in 1988 to evoke the same feeling of the Mars Attacks cards. Unfortunately, those I could not find anywhere, like a collection anywhere online to look at. Yeah, a few here and there. A lot of people selling them. Apparently, they came with stickers as well, and you can buy the stickers online now for expensive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of old trading cards. I have a bunch of those old, like, Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, yeah, Garbage Pail Kids. Those were awesome.
Old Star Wars cards. And
they did release, much like that just reminded me, because Garbage Pail Kids, they released a coffee table book that had very high-quality reproductions of all of the cards.
Nice.
They did the same thing with I think it was the 50th or the 60th anniversary of Mars Attacks. There's a very nice book. Yeah.
I had Dallas trading cards.
Like the show? Yeah. Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Not for the city?
No. No, they had trading cards for everything back then.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Dallas trading cards, Tron trading cards.
Tron,
cards.
I understand. I mean, Tron's at least sci-fi. Dallas is a soap opera.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I didn't even really like Dallas.
Yeah, especially you were like 12.
Well, okay. The reason why, sorry for the speed bump, but I think the reason why I did watch Dallas and I did like Dallas was Larry Hagman, because I loved I Dream of Jeannie, and Larry Hagman was a talent crush, and everything that he was in I had to watch.
Right.
And then I was like, I don't like him in this because he's mean as JR.
I'm going to shoot him.
He got shot.
Yeah.
Remember who shot him?
No. Maggie? Was it Maggie? Oh, no, I'm thinking of The Simpsons.
It was Maggie.
Jonathan Gems is a British playwright who did uncredited rewrite work on Batman for Tim Burton. Most of the work that Gems has done for Burton would be unproduced, including a Beetlejuice sequel titled Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Yeah, I remember that.
God, I so wish that had been made. An updating of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher, set in Burbank, California.
Nice. I think Mike Flanagan kind of did that.
I mean, yeah, kind of the same. Yeah.
I mean, it was an updated version. I don't know.
Right. The Hawkline Monster, a cowboy monster movie that was set to star Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson.
That I wish I saw.
That would have been great.
That sounds amazing.
As long as it was Jack Nicholson playing the monster.
I don't know, or them as buddies.
I know. It just would have been funny. And Go Baby Go.
I'm the monster.
Exactly.
Wow.
Go Baby Go, a beach movie in the style of films by Russ Meyer, which also would have been very fun.
Yeah.
I could totally see a Tim Burton Russ Meyer movie.
Of course.
Yeah. Before working on Mars Attacks, Burton had directed 6 movies. They'd grossed a combined $893.8 million from a combined budget of $188 million.
Well, there was 2 of those movies that took the bulk of that.
Yeah, granted, $678.4 million of that was from the 2 Batman movies he helmed.
Huh.
And really, of that, like $411 million was one Batman movie, the first Batman movie.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Oh, I love Michael Keaton. The only movie that didn't turn a profit was Burton's passion project, Ed Wood, which lost over $6 million.
Well, I mean, I love Ed Wood.
I think it's a brilliant movie.
Eddie, help me, Eddie.
Oh, my God. He is so good.
Eddie, help me. I need help, Eddie. Yeah, an amazing movie. Very, very niche, though, because not even a lot of people know who Ed Wood is.
Yeah. I adore Ed Wood. Not necessarily Ed Wood. I like the movie. Him as a director, the movies are kind of boring.
He's a plucky individual.
To me, it's one of Johnny Depp's best roles.
Yeah.
Like it's so against type. Like it is him having to actually act. Like, it is so good.
Well, I think most of the stuff he did with Tim Burton, he had to act. I mean, I would say Edward Scissorhands is a very layered performance.
Agreed. Later, it kind of falls off a bit. When he starts,
Mad Hatter?
Yeah, the Mad Hatter and
but that's
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And
once Johnny Depp became a movie star instead of an actor, it just kind of changed. You know, you look at his earlier stuff, there's some really interesting things that he did.
No, I agree. I like Johnny Depp, don't get me wrong. It's just that it was nice to see him like acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was great in that.
Which, granted, at that time, he was still acting, but it's nice to go back and look at it and go, oh, that's what Johnny Depp used to be. Okay.
Everybody. Bill Murray.
Oh, my God, Bill Murray.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Everybody in that movie was amazing, and especially Martin Landau.
And Martin Landau was brilliant.
As those of you who know the show, my old winking buddy.
Yeah, the old winking buddy.
I had not a relationship. It makes it sound weird. But I had a thing with Martin Landau for years. For years. We would go to the same Ralph's, and he would see me, and I would see him, and we'd wink at each other and give each other a nod and a wink and a smile.
Yeah.
And that was it. Never once talked to each other ever.
Yeah.
But we had that weird, and I never wanted to ruin it by talking to him. I just felt like this was the craziest friendship, quote unquote, that I ever had. And it was just weird, but I loved it. And it's just indicative of what an interesting guy he is.
Right.
Was.
I have a very similar relationship starting with Stephen Tobolowsky, who I've run into like 4 times now.
Nice.
At that same Rouse. And again, we haven't started to the winking phase yet, but like he always notices me when I notice him because we happen to be at the grocery store very early in the morning.
Right.
But he's fantastic, and I all want to talk to him so bad, but like he's shopping. Like I'm not going to do that.
Go Ned Ryerson.
I really want to talk to him about Mississippi Burning.
Yeah.
But I don't think that coming up and going, you played a great racist would be a good way to
I think you should.
myself.
Give him one of our cards. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, listen to the show. We love you.
So while both Gems and Burton realized that a Dinosaurs Attack film would be too similar to Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, Burton believed that a Mars Attacks adaptation could function like a 1970s disaster picture with an ensemble cast.
Perfect.
He and Gems consequently rented a copy of the movie The Towering Inferno from 1974 and watched it for inspiration, of which we've already covered, so please listen to our disaster movie episode.
Yes.
We actually are in The Towering Inferno. It's pretty great.
It's an epic episode of
It is.
monstrous proportions.
It is. In a later interview, Gems explained,
After seeing The Towering Inferno, it all came to me fairly quickly, and in about a week I had it roughed out, the story and the characters. And when I finished it, I realized it was invariably going to be, it couldn't help being, a portrait of America, because following the Irwin Allen formula, I'd sketched out a range of different characters from different walks of life and placed the action in different locations. In this case, California, Nevada, Kansas, New York, Mount Rushmore, and Washington, D.C.
yeah, it's one of those things that when it clicks.
Yeah.
And it just comes.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, you can't help but, okay, so the disaster movies weren't necessarily like slices of life, but it was, you would get different variations of white people.
Yeah.
Old ones, young ones.
Maybe one black guy once in a while.
One
but
Scatman Crothers would show up, do something heroic. But, or O.J. Simpson, in the case of Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, is you really see who people are when the S hits the fan.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like a sitcom, but a disaster movie.
Right, and
stick them in something, and then how do they act?
Most of the people in this film acted very poorly.
Yes, they made bad decisions.
Some yes, and some did not.
Burton, who was busy preparing Ed Wood, believed that Mars Attacks would be a perfect opportunity to pay homage to the films of Edward D. Wood Jr., especially Plan 9 from Outer Space, and other 1950s science fiction B-movies such as
Invaders from Mars, It Came from Outer Space, The War of the Worlds, Target Earth, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
Burton set Mars Attacks up with Warner Brothers, and the studio purchased the film rights to the trading card series on his behalf. The original theatrical release date was planned for the summer of 1996. Gems completed his original script in 1994, which was budgeted by Warner Brothers at $260 million.
I wonder why he didn't make it in the 1950s.
I mean, he kind of used the technology and stuff from the 50s.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would have been more, because it seemed like it had that vibe.
Yeah.
But it
was still very
stylized.
Modern. Yeah, it was stylized, but modern. I don't know. I mean, that might have been part of the problem. Like, that was not, the art direction wasn't entirely clear. So, I mean.
Right.
I agree. I mean, I feel like it should have been set in 1962. I mean, why not?
It would have been. I probably more money.
Maybe that would have added so many. It would have been $360 million instead of Unfortunately, the studio wanted to make the film for no more than $60 million. So good luck cutting $200 million out of your script.
Yeah, that's insane.
After turning in numerous drafts, the studio grew frustrated with Gems after insisting he remove the film's cold open, specifically the cows on fire.
Didn't necessarily find the cows on fire part that offensive, but the farmer talking to the Korean farmer was a little bit, hey, you guys got some Korean holiday going on there, chow?
It just, it only because the studio executives knew that cows on fire would cost more money.
Well, yeah.
Costs nothing to be racist.
No. Yeah, there you go.
They demanded there be no burning cows, but Gems contends he couldn't devise another sequence, at least nothing that he and Burton could agree improved on his initial barbecue bovines prologue. So it stayed in. And it is one of the best cold opens to a movie ever.
Definitely, because also, cows are a big part of Alien lore.
Yeah, they get kidnapped a lot.
Or turned inside out, or
eviscerated, or whatever. Cows, always the cows.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Cows are very human-like, I guess, with their two stomachs.
The aliens, I think they have 4 stomachs. The aliens don't see any difference between us and cows.
Well, do you blame them?
No. No, absolutely not. When Jem's latest script revision still included burning cows, the studio dismissed him.
You're dismissed. I said no burning cows, goddammit, and you keep putting your damn cows in there. You think this is funny? You think it's a game? Huh, Jims? Jims, you think it's a game? Sometimes. You're out of here, Jims. You're fired. You're fired. Take your flaming cows with you and get the hell out.
Prior to leaving the project, Gems recommended the writing duo behind Ed Wood, Scott Alexander, and Larry Karashevsky as his replacement.
Why would we do that, Jims? That was the biggest bomb of his entire career. Well, why don't we just...
It hadn't come out by then.
Oh, well, it will be. I predict it.
Alexander and Karashevsky worked on the film through July 1995, focusing the characters and making the tone less satirical. They rewrote the third act, incorporating the military in a finale that mirrored Independence Day, according to Gems. Gems, funny enough, eventually returned to the project, writing a total of 12 drafts of the script.
All right, Gems, you can come back. I was going through something when I fired you about the flaming cows.
Well, it seems like you're going through a lot of things.
Well, look, my Hindu wife did not like it.
The finished shooting script was about 90% by Gems.
Oh.
Although he is credited with both the screen story and screenplay of Mars Attacks, Gems dedicates his novelization of the movie to Burton, who...
co-wrote the screenplay and didn't ask for credit.
That's how Tim Burton works.
Yeah. He seems like he just wants his vision.
Yeah, he just wants it to be good.
Yeah.
Like, he knows, God knows, it's not like him getting a screenwriting credit is going to somehow bolster his already good career.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
He's fine. Warner Brothers was dubious of the Martian dialogue and wanted Burton to add closed captioning subtitles, but he resisted.
Good.
Working with Burton, Gems pared the film's 60 leading characters down to 23.
All right.
60. Do you think there's a reason why it was $260 million?
Yeah, because you have 60 principals.
60.
That's too many.
That's too many. The worldwide destruction plan for the film was isolated to 3 major cities. Scenes featuring Martians attacking China, the Philippines, Japan, Europe, Africa, India, and Russia were deleted from the screenplay, leaving only Paris, London, and the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Jem said,
"Bear in mind, this was way before Independence Day was written. We had things like Manhattan being destroyed building by building. The White House went, and so did the Empire State Building. Warner Brothers figured all this would be too expensive, so we cut most of that out to reduce the cost."
Further discussing the differences between Mars Attacks and Independence Day, Jem stated,
"Independence Day is more like a movie called Failsafe, and Mars Attacks is like Dr. Strangelove. You know, funny."
Yeah. What are you talking about? Independence Day is a great comedy.
Hey, I don't know.
Both films had a similar story, but were very different in tone, obviously.
Yeah, one was thin as paper, and the other one was...
One was all bluster and bravado,
Exactly.
and the other was actually deep. Yeah.
One got by on the charm of its leads, and the other one by the charm of its director.
Correct. The decision to hire an A-list ensemble cast for Mars Attacks parallels the strategy Irwin Allen used for his disaster films.
Exactly. That was the thing. That was kind of like the welfare program for the aged actors, was these disaster films that would be made, and you would get icons like Jimmy Stewart or Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Or what's the dancer?
Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly, or the other dancer. Yeah.
Other Gene Kelly?
Sure. But no, you would. That's how you would see all your old favorite actors.
Sammy Davis Jr.?
There you go, I guess.
Is
Sure.
that who you...
Nope. I was thinking of the old guy.
I was just thinking Gene Kelly.
He's pretty old.
He's
pretty
at
dead.
this time, he was... I mean, now he's... Yeah. So Jack Nicholson was cast as U.S. President James Dale, and Art Land...
I'm the President of the United States of America.
Warren Beatty was actually originally cast as President James Dale in the film.
He would have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him pulling it off. Paul Newman was cast when Beatty dropped out, but then left the project over concerns about the violence in it.
Hey, fellas, it seems a little bit too violent for me. I think I'm going to go do Road to Perdition, which has absolutely no violence in it.
Wasn't Paul Newman in The Towering Inferno?
Yep.
Wasn't that? Yeah.
I mean, the architect.
Younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton was also considered for the role.
Would have been great.
Would have been fantastic. Jack Nicholson, approached for the role of the president, jokingly remarked that he wanted to play all the roles.
I think I should play all the roles.
Burton agreed to cast Nicholson as both Art Land and President Dale, specifically remembering his positive working relationship with the actor on Batman.
Nice.
Nicholson agreed to work on the film for the same reason.
I like it.
They liked each other.
Yeah.
And they said, why not?
Look here, I like his accent.
Oh my God, his Artland.
Artland.
It's really great how very different the two characters are.
Yeah, and he had a
good
fake
job.
nose.
Yeah,
I also
fake nose
like
and the hair
They took
that randomly comes off. And then the very last scene before he gets killed, he's like wearing that weird like curly mop top. Like, what the hell is that? It's so weird.
Maybe we should get out of here.
Yeah. Burton was told repeatedly that he could not kill Jack Nicholson's character in the movie. This led to his decision to kill both of Nicholson's characters, just to spite everyone who had told him this.
Why would they say that? Who said that?
I'm sure it was probably his agent.
Oh.
And like studio execs were like, you can't do it. But I'm sure Nicholson was like, kill me in the movie, please.
Well, it's not like, I mean, he died in tons of his movies.
I don't know. Nicholson has won 3 Academy Awards for Best Actor for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975.
Where he dies.
Right.
Killed by the Indian.
And As Good as It Gets in 1997.
Well, he doesn't die, but everybody wishes he did because he was such an a-hole.
Yeah, he was. And for Best Supporting Actor for Terms of Endearment in 1983.
I don't think
he doesn't die in that one. Someone else dies in that one, but it's not him.
Yeah, Deborah Winger dies in that, right?
The only thing I remember about that movie is him driving on the beach with his feet.
Yeah.
Literally, that's all I remember about that movie.
He plays an astronaut. I go to space, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I feel like this has
Shirley
come up
MacLaine was my love interest.
Right.
As a astronaut.
Him in the, like, I just remember the linen pants and the shirt, and him driving around in the,
On the beach?
On the beach,
yeah. And then he goes flying over the...
And then, he was also Oscar nominated 9 other times. Did not realize that Jack Nicholson's been nominated 12 times for acting Oscars. I had no idea. Easy Rider in 1969.
Where he dies.
5 Easy Pieces in 1970.
Don't remember, but I don't think he dies.
The Last Detail in 1974.
Oh my God, such a good movie. We talked about that movie
last
show because Kooky McCooks was great in that movie too.
Randy Quaid.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie about sailors taking their buddy out for one last detail, the last night on the town. I think they're trying to get him laid because he was a virgin or something.
Sense.
But it's just a really good movie.
Yeah, he was also nominated for Chinatown in 1974.
He gets his nose cut, but doesn't die.
Reds in 1981.
Don't remember.
Prizzi's Honor in 1986. Ironweed in 1987. A Few Good Men in 1992. And About Schmidt in 2002.
Nice. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah. He's great in that movie. He's a great actor. He was great in all these.
He is really great. And the fact that he is so much... He looks like a caricature. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody that looks like Jack Nicholson. No. With the eyebrows and the everything and the voice and the this. And
especially as he's getting older. Like, he's becoming more caricature-like.
He could have turned into a parody of himself, much like Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, but I don't think he ever really did. I mean, you look at the work that he did, it was always something interesting. Even the last things that he did, like the with Morgan Freeman, Bucket List.
Oh, Bucket List. That was one of his last 2 movies, actually.
Yeah, that and About Schmidt, I think. And Departed.
Yeah, Departed was fantastic.
The guy barely... I mean, look, he did do anger management with you know, but even that was a different Adam Sandler movie. It was Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Right?
I think so.
But even that was like a different type of comedy for him. I mean, it just... The guy could have just been the Joker. You know what I mean? He just could have done those
He could have just been ridiculous and silly and everything.
But up until the end of his career, he always made really interesting choices.
Yeah.
I mean, Ironweed is it's not the easiest film to watch, but it's an amazing performance by him. He is like Chinatown, The Two Jakes, which is... I read an article with some guys like, The Two Jakes is better than Chinatown.
No, it is not.
Like,
that is absolutely not true.
But still, I mean, even The Two Jakes is an interesting film.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not bad. I mean, it's just not Chinatown.
No, but I don't think he ever crossed into that self-parody for the paycheck.
No, I agree.
Because he said famously, after Batman, he's like, I have all the FU money I need.
Yeah.
So now he just does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I'll never need to do anything again because he made like $50 million from Batman.
There was I saw an interview with, I don't even remember who it was, but he was doing a really good Jack Nicholson impersonation talking about The Departed. Mm-hmm. And that scene where they're in the marshes or whatever and he kills the person. He's with Brendan Gleeson, I think.
Okay.
But so anyway, like in the script, it was just that, he shoots her and that's it, or shoots the person. And he goes, but what if it was a girl and I kill a girl instead? And Scorsese was like, oh, okay.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, okay.
And he goes, yeah, but what if you keep rolling and then I say, well, she felt kind of funny, like implying that he does this all the time.
Yeah.
And then, but then, what if you keep rolling and I say, I kind of want to fuck her again? Just kidding. And Scorsese's like, all right.
Okay, whatever you want. That's fine, Jack. Whatever you want to do.
But it was just this weird, bizarre, like he has such a bizarre mind.
Oh, look. What if I'm into necrophilia?
Yeah, it's like, okay. But then he's, he has such good control of his characters. Like he knows the characters inside and out in every project he does.
Plus he's a collaborator and it's all what's best for the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's never the Jack Nicholson show. If it is, it's because the director makes it that way.
Right,
but I don't think Jack, as much as he was the coolest human being on the planet for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And, still is, but, nobody's seen him for a while, except at Lakers games.
Yeah.
But it's just, to overcome all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And to still be able to just command these performances
Right.
all the way up until the end. It's remarkable.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, Mars Attacks is a perfect example of this. He played two parts, and yet he was still part of the ensemble.
There was no winking to the camera.
No, it was...
His president was the Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I mean, that whole, watching him lose his mind as the president and
yes.
listening to... The point where he gets to the very end where he's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
Could you imagine? It's like he had nothing left.
Watching him realize that he's continually making bad decisions and knows that there's going to be awful consequences is brilliant.
Juxtapose that with the other character, who's just he's completely just
oblivious
to everything going. We got to have all kinds of booze in them limos. And
I mean, having a meeting. An investment meeting where you can see in the background aliens destroying Las Vegas.
Shouldn't we get out of here? I mean, this is going to be his whole thing is the aliens are going to need some place to sleep.
I'm sure he was probably wearing false teeth.
Too,
yeah.
He was, because he was very much like this.
It
was almost like he was doing Gary Busey.
Yeah, a little bit actually.
Because he had a little bit of that Busey in him.
Nicholson is only one of 3 male actors to win 3 Academy Awards, and one of only 2 actors to be nominated for an Academy Award for acting in films made in every decade from the 1960s to the 2000s, alongside Michael Caine. His 12 Academy Award nominations make him the most nominated male actor in the Academy's history.
Crazy.
He's just so good. I knew he was good. I just forgot how many times he'd been nominated.
Well, you go back and you watch Easy Rider or Last Detail or Chinatown before Jack Nicholson became Jack Nicholson. Yeah. He was the greatest actor of his generation, I think.
Brilliant. Yeah, he was brilliant. I would agree.
And the subtlety and what's going on behind the eyes.
Yes.
He's always engaged, and I would describe him as electrifying.
Yeah.
And he is watchable. There is something about him that just no matter if he was just reading the phone book or if he's doing a movie, your eyes and ears are drawn to that guy.
Yeah. Agreed. He had just come off The Crossing Guard in 1995, written and directed by Sean Penn. The film received generally positive reviews, but did not make its money back at the box office.
My friend worked on that movie in the camera department. My friend was working, and he was behind the camera, and there was this scene where Jack has to explode and kind of go over this table and whatever. Mm-hmm. And he said before the scene, Jack was just Jack or whatever, and when that scene happened and he exploded, he said that was the most amazing thing he had ever seen. Was his performance in that scene was just the most masterful and crazy. It seemed like it was so out of control.
Yeah.
But reflecting upon it, it was so in control
Wow.
that it's just he was in awe of what Jack Nicholson could do,
Wow.
and I'm jealous to be have a front row seat,
Right.
To even
Right.
in a a lesser film, let's say, but not a lesser performance. His
Right.
performance in
Right.
Crossing Guard.
Oh yeah, no, he made everything he was in better.
Yeah.
I mean, in addition to Mars Attacks in 1996, Nicholson was in 2 other movies: Blood and Wine, co-starring Stephen Dorff, Jennifer Lopez, Judi Davis, and Michael Caine. The movie was directed by Bob Rafelson. I've never seen this. Who has stated that the film forms the final part of his unofficial trilogy with Nicholson, with whom he made 5 Easy Pieces and The King of Martin Gardens in the 1970s.
Yeah, it's not a very good movie at all.
That's too bad. The Evening Star, written and directed by Robert Herring, who had written the play and screenplay of Steel Magnolias, among others. The film was a sequel to Terms of Endearment from 1983 and was adapted from Larry McMurtry's 1992 novel of the same name. Unlike its predecessor, The Evening Star received negative reviews from critics and was a box office bomb.
Oh, everybody's so pissed. Everybody's so pissed. They were all looking forward to another Terms of Endearment, and they got Terms of Crap.
I remember when this came out, and people were so mad, and I had never seen Terms of Endearment,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't understand why everyone's so pissed off about this.
Leave it alone, man. That
Yeah.
is lightning in a bottle. You're not going to get that again.
Well, blame Larry McMurtry. He shouldn't have written the sequel.
Well, no. Stephen King's favorite book is a Larry McMurtry book.
Lonesome Dove.
Yep, which is my favorite miniseries of all time.
We will be covering that at some point.
The Chase.
Nicholson retired from acting after the 2010 James L. Brooks movie How Do You Know, which was a box office bomb and a critical failure.
Don't even remember what that was about.
I don't either. In fact, to be honest, didn't even realize it existed until I wrote it down. It was one of those movies where it was like, generic title, here's some actors.
Yeah.
Like it's like they're in situations, and like, should this be a movie? No. But this doesn't mean I say he retired from acting. Technically, he never announced he retired. It's just the last movie he did was 14 years ago.
Right. There's been rumors of dementia and
Yeah.
some mental slips, but who knows? I mean, he still shows up at the Lakers game with his son, so
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just hasn't found the right project that he wants to work on.
maybe
or
he's just done.
maybe he just doesn't care anymore.
Like, I'm old and fat, and I don't want to do this crap
Got
anymore.
all that FU money. He
does.
He doesn't need to worry about anything
He
else.
doesn't. He's Jack Nicholson. He can do whatever he wants.
Glenn Close was cast as First Lady Marcia Dale.
I love Glenn Close so much. She also gets. I mean, the beauty of this movie is they cast exceptional actors.
Yeah.
Who get the move. They get what they're doing.
Yeah.
They understand.
I want to say I think 9 or 10 of the actors were all nominated for Academy Awards in this movie.
Sure. At least.
At least 3 or 4 won, or would go on to win.
Right.
Yeah.
But nobody plays unlikable better than.
I love Glenn Close. I find her an enigma. Like, she's so... I am drawn to her, but I can't quite figure out why.
Yeah.
Like, but it makes me want to watch her more.
Yeah. But she is so talented at playing off-putting.
Yes. Oh, she's
And-
so good in this.
Oh my God! And she, as the first lady, is just. She is the mom of the. Everybody's mom of a certain generation is like that.
Yeah,
where they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
completely obsessed with surface level crap. You
Right,
know, like,
right.
what are you wearing? How do you look? What is this?
Right,
You know, my
right.
favorite is, you can get the taffeta and it's on sale. My husband is president of the United States. Do you think we really need to worry about that?
Of course not.
She's just up until the end when she gets squashed.
Oh my God, the most awful death.
But the greatest last line, the Jack Leonard has a chandelier. And then swoosh.
And then it
And then
crushes
he's just like, wow, no, and his reaction.
He said, Marsha.
Oh,
Oh, so both Meryl Streep and Stockard Channing were considered for the role of the First Lady.
both would have been great, too.
Both would have been fantastic. Close has won 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 3 Tony Awards, and 3 Golden Globe Awards, in addition to nominations for 8 Academy Awards and 3 Grammy Awards.
She's amazing.
She's one of the few performers to be nominated for the Triple Crown of Acting and the EGOT, the big 4 category
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Yeah. In 1996, along with Mars Attacks, Close was in Mary Riley, co-starring Julia Roberts, based on the 1990 novel of the same name, which was inspired by Robert Louis Stevenson's 1886 novella Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
It loosely based, and that movie was bad.
It was a box office bomb.
Nobody wanted to see Julia Roberts. Nobody wanted to see Julia Roberts.
It was being in a serious movie, a serious dramatic part, and it was not good.
People wanted to see her as a happy hooker.
Yeah. Just for the rest of her life.
Yes.
That's it. She was also in 101 Dalmatians, a live-action remake of the animated film with Close starring as Cruella de Vil.
I totally forgot about that movie. And my God, she was amazing.
She was amazing in it. It would make over $320 million from a $67 million budget.
People hate Dalmatians, and they love seeing movies where people are cruel to Dalmatians.
I love Dalmatians. Close will next be seen in Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery on Netflix, written and directed by Rian Johnson.
Nice.
Very excited about that movie. Annette Bening was cast as Barbara Land, Art's wife.
I forgot how amazing Annette Bening is. I haven't seen her in a while. I didn't see Naiad. I wanted to. It looks really good. But
she's got some other stuff coming up. But I mean, like she seems very under the radar. Yeah.
The Grifters.
Yeah.
American
oh my God.
Beauty.
The Grifters. She's so good.
She's just so versatile. And unfortunately, once she married Warren Beatty, she just didn't seem to do as much. And I'm not going to blame that. Maybe she just didn't want to do it.
4 kids. Like, I'm sure she spent a lot of time at home.
Ugh, stupid. This is why I hate kids.
This is why kids are dumb.
But she really nailed that part.
Oh, my God. She was so phenomenal in this movie.
That's what some of the most fun of this movie is watching these, like, quote-unquote, Oscar-winning actors.
Right.
Just have the time of their lives with these characters.
Yes, having fun.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And this ditzy alcoholic, and the beauty of her character too is like the disillusionment. She's a crunchy granola who thinks that the aliens are going to come and solve all of our problems. And then once the reality comes through, she's just like grabbing the Southern Comfort and
F all this.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, my husband's dead. It's just she's just. It was just such a perfect performance. And one of my favorite parts is when they're escaping, and they're escaping with rude gambler, Danny DeVito, who doesn't even have a name.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I liked him because he's exactly the same kind of piece of ass that Nicholson is. And it's just like her, she's just it's just that tiny little touch was just such perfect character development. I don't know, man. I loved her so much in this movie. So much.
Susan Sarandon was originally set to play Barbara Land before Annette Bening was cast.
She would have been great, but Annette Bening, I can't see anybody else playing that.
She actually modeled the character after Anne Margaret's performance in Viva Las Vegas, the Elvis movie.
That makes sense.
I totally see that, yeah.
It seems more like her character from 5 Easy Pieces, Anne Margaret.
Bening has received numerous accolades, including a BAFTA Award, 2 Golden Globe Awards, and nominations for 5 Academy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, and 2 Tony Awards, making her one of the few artists nominated for the Triple Crown of Acting without winning.
Shame.
Yeah.
It's an absolute shame.
Bening made her feature film debut in The Great Outdoors in 1988, written by John Hughes and starring Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
Yeah, and a bear named Bart.
Which I absolutely love that movie. Did not realize it was her first film.
She played Aykroyd's wife, right?
Yeah.
Husband.
Yes.
That is a stretch.
In 2023, she was in Naiad, a biopic of Diana Naiad, who tried to swim the Straits of Florida in the early 2010s. She was also in Pool Man, written, co-produced, directed, and starring Chris Pine.
Ooh, baby, that got some stanks.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if it's any good or not.
I heard the reviews have not been kind. And he's got a pretty good sense of humor.
She'll be seen in the upcoming film The Bride, written, directed, and co-produced by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
All right, is that about the Bride of Frankenstein?
It is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is she playing the bride?
No.
Oh.
No. No, I don't remember who it is. It's someone that I had never heard of playing the bride.
Okay.
But it's got her brother in it, but a bunch of other people. It's not
Jake?
Yes, her brother Jake. Her brother Steve.
Did you know that Jake Gyllenhaal is legally blind?
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
Crazy.
I think he has contacts or something that make him legally he can drive. But yeah, without the corrective lenses or whatever, he's essentially blind.
That sucks.
Give me another few years and I'll be in that same boat.
Oh, that's sad. You only need your voice, though.
That's true. Why do I need to read anything?
No, you can use Braille.
Pierce Brosnan was cast as Professor Donald Kessler.
Yes.
Who's just, he's such a send-up of all the snooty Englishmen. I just love it so much.
Well, Mr. President, I doubt they're violent, Mr. President.
There was a pipe. There was a point in this movie after the first time where they kill everybody because of the dove or quote unquote whatever, and then he's like, "Oh well, maybe it was a mistake." There was a point where I was like, "Is he working for the Martians?" Like it really seemed like he was working for them.
Well, it's like that whole uber liberal benefit of the doubt BS, where it's just like, every single piece of evidence is showing you
that they're crazy and they're going to murder you.
And the fact that the aliens are just effing with us.
Yeah, they're
hilarious.
Director Tim Burton had initially considered using Pierce Brosnan for Batman 6 years prior and had requested he audition for the title role. By Brosnan's own admission, he apparently blew his audition once he started questioning the costume and why Batman would wear his underpants outside of his trousers.
Excuse me, why would Batman be wearing his underpants outside of his costume? And what is a cowl?
A cowl?
What is a cowl? I know what a cape is, but what is a cowl? This is all silly.
How different would the world be if Pierce Brosnan had ended up playing Batman instead of Michael Keaton?
It wouldn't have been great.
But he wouldn't have played Bond.
Maybe. I don't know. And would he have an American? I mean, it's just, I don't see him. He's just too prissy. I love him.
I agree. I don't think it would have been a good casting choice.
No. He was great as Bond for the time. And, I just love when he got away from Remington Steele and Bond and all that crap and then just became one of the coolest dudes.
His goofy comedy is fantastic.
He's just another guy who doesn't seem to take himself too seriously.
No, he has fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brosnan rose to fame through the TV show Remington Steele, appearing in 94 episodes over 5 seasons. His character, alias Remington Steele, never knew his real name during the show.
Remington Steele. He was also on Moonlighting as Remington Steele.
Oh, was he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
There was they did like a mockumentary of the show, and he either was as Remington Steele,
right,
or Pierce. I think he was as Remington Steele. He was like, I was going to be the partnering up with her, but I decided to,
The year before Mars Attacks, Brosnan made his first James Bond film, GoldenEye. He would appear in 3 more Bond movies over the next 7 years.
Best thing about GoldenEye is the Nintendo video game.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it Nintendo?
It was originally on the Nintendo.
Right.
The Nintendo 64.
Yes.
Yeah. He will be seen in the upcoming spy thriller Black Bag, directed by Steven Soderbergh, written by David Koepp.
Nice. That sounds good.
I love Soderbergh, so I'm curious to see where it goes. Danny DeVito was cast as a rude gambler.
Rude gambler!
Although Danny DeVito has billing above the title in most of the theatrical release posters, the DVD covers, and other promotional artwork for the film, he plays an unnamed character with 6 lines and approximately 90 seconds of screen time.
Yeah. No bait and switch.
Yeah. Glenn Shaddix, a collaborator with the film's producer-director Tim Burton, was offered the role of the rude gambler, but due to scheduling conflicts with the film Dunstan Checks In, Danny DeVito was cast.
Well, Dunstan Checks In was a major hit. He's Danny DeVito, even in that 90 seconds, it's just great. Like,
he's brilliant.
Everybody's watching the TV, and he's like, come on, are we gambling here? What? He's like throwing the craps.
The fact that Annette Bening has the line at the end, I liked him, literally mirrors everyone in the audience.
Yep.
It's like, I know he's a rude son of a bitch, but like, he's really funny and I liked him.
Hey, you want a Rolex? Look, we gotta work something out here, huh? You're gonna need somebody to help you. I can help you out there. Yeah. He plays scumbag like nobody else.
God, he does so well.
And it's because he started out. I mean, there's no bigger scumbag than his character on Taxi.
Oh, yeah. DeVito had previously worked with Burton on Batman Returns as the Penguin. DeVito will be seen in the upcoming Beetlejuice sequel, Beetlejuice. I've now said it 3 times, and he just appeared in the studio.
Oh, no!
As well as the upcoming season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He has already been in 155 episodes of that show.
Sure.
And he wasn't even in the beginning of the show.
I know.
Like, the fact that show is still running blows my mind.
I need to watch that show.
I am so far behind.
I think I watched the first season.
Oh, really?
It. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I don't think it's the end of the last season, but maybe the season before had the greatest ending to a sitcom season I've ever seen.
Tell me.
You have to watch this show.
All right.
It was one of the most powerful, brilliant things I've seen.
Okay.
And it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, it's just...
Well, they always seem to do something interesting.
Yeah.
You know. How?
Martin Short was cast as the White House press secretary Jerry Ross.
Scumbag.
Such a scumbag in this, but he smiles the whole time, so it's fine.
I'm the press secretary. Things are a little tough for me right now. A lot of stress. Could use some stress relief. You want to see the White House?
Short burst onto the scene with SCTV and subsequently SNL.
Listen to our SCTV episode.
Thank you. He can be seen in the upcoming season of Only Murders in the Building.
Listen to our Only Murders in the Building episode.
Listen to our entire Steve Martin Short month where we talk about Martin Short ad nauseum for 4 hours.
And Steve Martin.
Sarah Jessica Parker was cast as Natalie Lake.
She's just so awesome.
Parker made her television debut in the sitcom Square Pegs in 1982, which only ran for 1 season, but critics adored her layered performance.
I can't believe that was only 1 season.
I honestly forget that show exists. And then number 2, the fact that it was 1 season is because everybody's like, that's how Sarah Jessica Parker's an amazing actor.
I loved that show. I loved it. I thought it was on for longer. I mean, when that show came on, I was just hooked. And she was so good. The other girl was so good. And it was the first time you had nerdy leads.
Right.
And they made them look nerdy. You know, it wasn't like, take off your glasses and you're beautiful.
Yeah.
They were nerds. And we have to do a Square Pegs episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's available anywhere, but I would love to rewatch that show.
Yeah. I've never actually seen any of it, so I would love to watch it.
Square Pegs, Square Pegs. The theme song is so good.
Sarah Jessica Parker made her major film debut in Footloose in 1984.
Yeah, she was Chris Penn's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. An early breakout role was as Sandy, big S, little A, little N, big D, little E, big E, with a star at the end. In L.A. Story in 1991, written and starring Steve Martin.
Oh, I love that movie.
I adore L.A. Story.
And that movie...
And she's a huge part of that.
Oh, well, that movie is the reason why everybody fell in love.
Yeah.
I mean, she is the most adorable human being on the planet in that
movie.
movie.
You just want to hold her and hug her and just be like, yes, everything's great.
Yeah, she's... there's a reason why he cast her, and she nailed that part.
She's so good in that movie.
Everybody is. It's such a great movie.
It's such a great movie. She'd worked with Tim Burton on Ed Wood, leading her to being cast in Mars Attacks. She most recently can be seen in Hocus Pocus 2 and the new Sex and the City spinoff and Just Like That, ...
There you go.
Which apparently has already ran for like 2 seasons or something. I don't know.
And she's married to Matthew Broderick.
She is. They've been married for a really long time.
He was going to play something in this.
He was going to play the president.
We're going to play the president in this.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox was cast as Jason Stone, which is such a great name. Johnny Depp turned down the role of reporter Jason Stone.
I wonder why.
I think he was working on something else. I think he was unavailable. I think.
Probably.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox had been suffering from symptoms of Parkinson's disease, slowly but steadily increasing severity for several years by the time filming was underway.
He noticed that on Back to the Future. One of the Back to the Future sequels,
He was officially diagnosed in 91. So yeah, I think it was while he was filming
3?
The third one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was officially diagnosed in 91. He didn't actually come out and reveal his diagnosis till 1998.
It was like a toe or a finger that started it all, and it was just like...
It was something that was just... It was uncontrollable movement, and he didn't know what the hell was going on. The evidence of his struggle with the disease are apparent during the scene of the Martian's first attack out in the desert, where he can be seen experiencing moderate tremors in some shots.
Yeah, after you mentioned that, I paid close attention during that scene, and at one point he's got his hand in his pocket to manage... he pocketed it. He pocketed his hand, but he put his hand in his pocket, and you can see it moving pretty badly.
Yeah, and then when they cut... Because he's on top of the trailer... And then when they cut back, it's just the microphone moving. It's like, whoo,
just all over the place.
All over. They made it look like it was him being scared.
Sure.
And, and they worked it in. But
what's so sad is, right after that, we're reminded of what an amazing physical comedian he is, with his running and jumping and juking and jiving, trying to get over to Sarah Jessica Parker when the aliens are firing at him. And when he rolls out. I mean, it's... For somebody who was so much of his performances were physical.
Yeah.
Even his dramatics, it's like he was a whole body actor, if that makes sense.
He was, yeah.
And it must just be hell for him to be trapped in a body that's failing him, after you know.
Well, and especially at such a young age. Like, I mean, early onset Parkinson's is even worse.
Oh, my God,
it's
yeah.
just terrible.
Yeah. I'm really curious. I want to see that documentary Still on Apple TV.
Yeah. Mars Attacks was the last theatrically released film that Michael J. Fox physically appeared in until 2014. So he took off, what was that, like 18 years?
Yeah. He would show up on TV.
He did TV stuff as well as some voice acting. He most recently can be seen in Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, a documentary about his battle with Parkinson's. That's on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah. He was great on Rescue Me. He was had a great arc on that. He had a great arc on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, he was so brilliant on that show. That the fact that he was, because using the Parkinson's to make people show sympathy for him and him just being a complete dick to everybody was so brilliant.
It just shows he has such a great sense of humor.
Yes.
I mean, those Canadians, baby. They're the
good.
best.
They're good people. They're good people.
Oh, yeah, eh?
I love Michael J. Fox. I love Back to the Future, and I'm happy that he's still working. I'm happy he's still alive.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you know, not a lot of people with his condition are at that. You know,
No.
after suffering for so long.
for so long.
And considering he gets the absolute best care there is, and it's still,
he's still,
you know, what it is. It's just, it shows you that it's just a devastating disease.
Yeah, it's really sad. Rod Steiger was cast as General Decker.
God, I love him. I love him so much. We have to get him. We have to get him now, President. We have to kill him. Kill them all. Kill him. Like I said, watching it this time, nobody got this movie better than him.
He does the best reactions to everything happening. If the camera was on him, he was acting in the background.
Oh my God, it's so fed up. My favorite is when they announce that they're going to let Paul Winfield as General Casey greet the thing,
Right.
and it's just like, even though he's got his sunglasses on, you know his eyes are rolling. And you know, and then coming out at the end with the double pistols and like, we'll never get away. And it was just the perfect demise for a guy like that is to make him tiny.
Oh yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And even though he was
he
tiny,
gets
he was
squished.
still yelling and screaming until he got smushed. And my God, he must have watched Doctor Strangelove like 6 times to prepare for this role because he nails it like nobody else.
He actually made his film debut in 1951 with the film Teresa. He was cast by Elia Kazan in On the Waterfront, starring Marlon Brando in 1954.
Stella!
He would earn an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his part. He would be nominated for Best Actor in 1965 with Pawnbroker.
I'm a pawnbroker.
He would finally win his Academy Award with Best Actor in 1967 for In the Heat of the Night.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good.
That is such a great movie, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And an amazing performance by him because it's so layered. It's just like, you know.
It's a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, both he and Sidney Poitier are just like, if you haven't seen it,
Highly
see
recommend
it.
Steiger died on July 9th, 2002 at age 77 of pneumonia and kidney failure as a result of complications from surgery for a gallbladder tumor.
Ugh, so sad.
Tom Jones was cast as himself. Funniest thing, I didn't realize this. Tom Jones is actually Welsh.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's not unusual.
I thought he was. Maybe it's just because he's lived in Vegas for 8 million
Yeah.
years. I thought he was from Vegas. But
Well, the way he talks, baby.
yeah, and it's not. The funny thing is that every couple of times he talks in this movie, you can kind of hear an accent.
Yeah.
Just slightly.
My very first impersonation, quoties, was of Tom Jones.
Yeah.
I was, I think, 5.
Oh.
And I would come out and I would sing, "What's up, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa." And then when I got to the end, I had like this pearl button shirt, you know, and I would rip the shirt open
Nice.
down to my navel.
Nice.
And the parents would trot me out for their drunken friends
Right.
and make me
Right.
perform my
Nice.
dancing monkey.
You were a dancing monkey.
I've always been one.
Yeah.
Ever since I was little, and still am today. What's up, pussycat?
Tim Burton actually visited Tom Jones backstage after one of his Las Vegas performances to ask him to be in the film.
You want to be in my film?
Additionally, Jones' actual backup singers at the time, Darrell Porter, Holden, Christy Black, and Sharon Hendricks, played his doomed backup singers in the film,
That's such a funny part.
which has one of the greatest gags. Yeah. Because they sang, man. They act right along. Tom Jones is featured in the film singing his hit song, It's Not Unusual. The song is also played in Edward Scissorhands, another Tim Burton film.
That's crazy, man.
I think that Tim Burton is just a huge Tom Jones fan.
Who isn't? I've seen Tom Jones twice at the Hollywood
Oh,
Bowl.
really? Wow.
Oh, my
Nice.
God.
Nice.
Nothing like watching 75-year-old ladies throw their giant panties at a 75-year-old man.
Tom Jones has done some other acting. Most of the roles are cast as himself, although he has, quote-unquote, acted a couple times.
Sure thing, baby.
And he cannot actually fly a plane. I thought maybe he could, but I could not find any evidence that he actually is a pilot.
But you didn't find any evidence that he wasn't.
No, I guess not.
Aha! It's Schrodinger's pilot.
Lukas Haas was cast as Richie Norris. His first screen role was as a child in 1983 nuclear Holocaust film Testament.
Hey, what happened? Everything's really hot. That was his big line.
He became more widely known in 1985 when at the age of 8 he appeared in Witness, which is a phenomenal movie.
What did you see, kid?
I'm momish. I don't see nothing that my daddy says.
I'm momish.
I'm a momish.
Haas can most recently be seen in The Righteous Gemstones.
He's so great.
Natalie Portman was cast as Taffy Dale, James and Marcia's daughter and Richie's love interest. Which,
Taffy.
I mean, Richie's love interest is a bit of a stretch because they don't meet until the very end of the movie.
And she just asks, do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
No.
No.
He's too goony. He'll never have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
His grandma's his girlfriend.
This was Natalie Portman's first foray into sci-fi. She began her acting career at age 12 when she starred as the young protege of a hitman in the action film Leon the Professional in 1994.
Oof. Such a great
Such
movie.
a great movie.
Such a great movie. And make sure you watch Leon the Professional.
Not just the Professional.
Not just the Professional.
Yeah.
It's superior.
She was 14 during filming of Mars Attacks.
It's crazy that she would never do another sci-fi movie ever again.
No.
It's like, I'm done with it.
Until the next movie she had released, which was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace in 1999.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other Star Wars movies, other prequel movies. Portman has been nominated 3 times for an Academy Award, winning Best Actress for Black Swan in 2010.
Were the other 2 for episodes 1 and 2?
Nope. Portman will be seeing the upcoming... Do you want to know what they are?
Yeah.
One of them was...
Was it that when she played the stripper?
Yes, Closer.
Closer
For
Jude
Best
Law?
Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress. And then the last one was some movie from like 2016 that I had never heard of.
Okay.
It's about the time when I stopped paying attention to the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Portman will be seeing the upcoming movie Fountain of Youth, a heist movie directed by Guy Ritchie.
Okay. Sounds
I'm
good.
Excited about that. Jim Brown was cast as Byron Williams, the retired boxer.
So good.
Now working at the, the Luxor.
Yeah. The whole Jim Brown, Pam Grier, Brandon Hammond, Ray J story was so great.
Yeah.
Kind of seemed like it was from a different movie.
Yeah, it was definitely more serious.
It had a lot more heart, yeah.
Yeah, like it was, him like trying to make money for his family, but he's gone all the time and it seems like she should have like been mad about it, but it wasn't written that way.
She understood
it didn't play that way.
Yeah, I think that's what was so great about it is we did have this grounded story, and the good characters, the nice characters, had a little bit more oomph to them. There was a little bit more Lukas Haas and Sylvia Sidney. Because they weren't despicable.
Right.
You got to know a little bit more, and so it just seemed a little bit more serious because, the kids weren't bad kids, but they were.
No,
a little out of control.
They needed their father around.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They needed a strong hand at him.
Yeah, they did. Brown is considered to be one of the best running backs in NFL history. He played for the Cleveland Browns from 1957 to 1965.
Ooh.
In fact, he was so good, they renamed the team after him.
Okay.
Did they? No, I'm just kidding. Brown made his film debut in 1964 with Rio Honchos, a Western.
Okay.
He made a big impact in The Dirty Dozen in 1967.
Yeah, he did. Oh.
Huge movie. Such a great movie.
He is also just super cool, man.
Oh,
He's just cool. And he and Pam Grier together, awesome.
Oh, great. Yeah, fantastic.
Because she's also a super cool.
Oh,
and it's just no nonsense. That scene when she stops the bus and grabs her kids out of the arcade and brings them back on the bus, and everybody
oh my God,
applauds
they all cheer.
her.
Yeah,
It's just
so great.
She's just Amazing.
so great.
Yeah. And it was just such a nice departure from all the hateable characters to have somebody to root for.
Yes, exactly.
You know.
Brown had a really good film and TV career with over 50 credits to his name. Unfortunately, he died of natural causes at the age of 87 on May 18th, 2023, at his home in Los Angeles.
Oh, that was just recently.
That was recent. I didn't realize. Lisa Marie was cast as Martian Girl.
So creepy.
Yeah, super creepy. The way she moves was just insane.
Yeah.
It was so creeps. Marie met film director Tim Burton at a coffee bar in New York on New Year's Eve in 1992 when she had just finished modeling for Calvin Klein, and Burton had been having difficulty in his 4-year marriage. According to a Boston Herald article, they claimed to have bonded over mutually witnessing 2 UFO sightings in California.
Hey, I saw some UFOs in California.
Me too.
Let's be in a UFO movie.
Hey, let's bond. Are we bonding right now?
They were engaged from 1993 to 2001, and she appeared in small roles in most of his productions made during this time. In real life, Lisa Marie, the Martian Girl, owns the television hostess Natalie Lake's pet chihuahua, Poppy.
The most talented little pet chihuahua I've ever
Cute
seen.
Little Poppy. The Martian Girl never blinks throughout all of her scenes in the film. I did write down, this is incorrect. She also appears as the White House tour guide. It actually was not her.
Really?
It was somebody named TT or something. I could not find any other information about them, but they are on IMDb. It was not her.
Interesting, because
Yeah.
I was sure she had dual roles.
No. She was just the weird Martian Girl.
Huh.
Burton abruptly ended their relationship following the premiere of 2001's Planet of the Apes, which he directed. Marie had a small role in the film, while Burton's new girlfriend, Helena Bonham Carter, was one of its lead actresses.
Yeah, he blamed Lisa Marie on the failure of that movie.
How? The small role she had ruined the movie?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
You ruined my movie.
I actually, because I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan, I don't hate it as much as other people do. It's definitely, of all the Planet of the Apes movies, it is the worst.
Yeah, because you got Dum Dum Magoo playing
I know.
astronaut. I'm an astronaut. Wow, all these apes here.
But
Goodness gracious.
I like it because it actually follows the closer to the novel than any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's some
But again,
good
not a
parts.
good movie. Not a
no,
good movie.
Paul Giamatti's fine as an orangutan.
yeah.
And the guy from The Green Mile is a big...
Oh, yeah.
Gorilla.
I mean, it's not, it's got,
It's just...
yeah.
Mark, man,
It was bad casting.
I'm an astronaut. Let me tell you about sciences.
Marie responded in 2005 by holding an auction of personal belongings that Burton had left behind, much to his dismay. Why, by that point, he hadn't gotten more of his
Yeah.
stuff back?
It's your own fault, buddy.
You should have gotten your stuff back, man.
Yeah.
Sylvia Sidney was cast as Grandma Florence Norris, the Richie's paternal grandmother.
Richie was always my favorite.
She rose to prominence in dozens of leading roles in the 1930s. She was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her performance in Summer Wishes, Winter Dreams in 1973. She later gained attention for her role as Juno, a caseworker in the afterlife, in Tim Burton's 1988 film Beetlejuice.
She is brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. She's so good in that movie, especially the smoking and all the smoke coming out of her throat. It's so great. She was so great. Mars Attacks was her final film. She died on July 1st, 1999 from esophageal cancer at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan at the age of 88.
That's a tough way to go.
But her career spanned 7 decades. She was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And it's just crazy to think of somebody like, she's super popular in the 30s.
Yeah.
And then 60
she
years
was
later.
Still making movies 60 years later.
Good for her.
Paul Winfield was cast as General Casey. He was known for his portrayal of a Louisiana sharecropper who struggled to support his family during the Great Depression, and the landmark film Sounder in 1972, which earned him an Academy Award nomination.
Oh, yeah.
He portrayed Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1978 television miniseries King, for which he was nominated for an Emmy Award. Winfield was also known for his roles in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, The Terminator, L.A. Law, and 24 episodes of the sitcom 227.
We talk more about him on the Terminator episode.
We do.
And in the Wrath of Khan, he gets an earwig in his ear that makes him evil.
I received 4 Emmy nominations overall, winning in 1995 for his 1994 guest role in Picket Fences. And yes, please listen to our Terminator episode for a much deeper dive into Paul Winfield, who is an amazing actor and had a fascinating life.
He was obviously doing Colin Powell as
yes.
his character,
Yes.
but in the best part of it,
He's so great.
greatest part was he's all very, yes, Mr. President, yes, yes. And then when his wife calls, he's like, I know, honey, isn't it great? I knew if I just toe the line and didn't speak up, good things would happen. And here they are. And then when he stops talking to her and he looks over at the driver, who's obviously disgusted in what he heard, he's just like, oh.
He's so good.
Always, man.
This is what's brilliant about this movie, is that it is an ensemble piece, but every time an actor has the screen, they kill it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
They took full advantage of the time they had, and that's what makes this movie so fantastic.
And it's so layered, and they're all just so petty. I mean, watching Sarah Jessica Parker and Michael J. Fox, like, at breakfast when she's getting the interview and he's not.
We should have gotten that.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just this whole... It just shows just how shitty human nature is for a lot of people, and then how good some human nature is. Because, like, the sweetest person in the world is Richie,
Yeah, yeah.
He's just so, like...
He just wants to help his grandma. He just wants to get his grandma.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, son, you got to help us protect this trailer. And for your brother, she's already dead. It's just like, I'm going to get grandma. And, like, the one time he raised his voice and got even a hint of anger was when he was like...
And then he left, and he did it.
Good thing he did, too, because the trailer didn't make it.
Yeah, got smushed.
By the big old robot.
Pam Grier was cast as Louise William Byron's ex-wife. Producer-director Tim Burton called Pam Grier and asked her to fly to Los Angeles for an audition. She said she wanted to, but could not because her dog was terminally ill. He called her back several times and eventually decided that she had already auditioned by not leaving her dog, since her character in the film refused to leave her two sons.
And, no offense, but Pam Grier's got a ass ton of work you could look at, Tim.
Yes,
I mean, it's not like she's a brand new actor.
Obviously. I wouldn't put it past the fact that the studio was like, well, we need to see tape.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Jack Black, there's plenty more. We're definitely going to cover Pam Grier at some point in the future. So
I mean, look, her in Jackie Brown was just a revelation. I mean, she's always been a great actor.
Jack Black was cast as Billy Glenn Norris, Richie's older brother. His name is Billy Glenn. Ugh.
Billy Glenn.
Black made his film debut in Bob Roberts, the mockumentary written, directed, and produced by Tim Robbins.
He's so skinny in this.
He's so skinny. He made appearances in Demolition Man in 1993, Dead Man Walking in 1995, and had 4 other movies released in 1996, along with Mars Attacks. They were Biodome, starring Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin.
I don't remember him in that.
He actually was as Tenacious D. Him and Kyle Gass were performing as Tenacious D in the movie.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick, directed by Ben Stiller.
He was
a friend of
Matthew Broderick's like best friend.
I just remember him from the basketball scene when Jim Carrey shows up and it's just insane.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. He was also in The Fan, starring Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes, directed by Tony Scott. Really not a good movie.
No. But I don't remember him in that either.
I don't really either, but I don't remember a lot about that movie because I think I blocked most of it out.
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
I'm your biggest fan. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan. Want to see my knife? That's basically
that was the movie. That was the whole movie. Crossworlds. He was also in Crossworlds, a Rutger Hauer sci-fi B movie.
No, I want to see that.
Which I had never heard of, but it looked awful.
I got to see it.
Black will be seen in the upcoming Borderlands adaptation, voicing Claptrap.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. Look, that movie has an amazing cast. It's got Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
It's got him. It's got Kevin Hart.
I thought Kevin Hart was doing the voice of Claptrap.
No, Kevin Hart.
Is he actually in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the vault dwellers.
Oh, okay.
It's like he, and then they got some girl playing, that crazy young girl. That
Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina.
Yeah.
And then somebody else. Somebody playing like a big. One of the
a big
dudes.
Bad
I don't
guy
know.
or whatever.
I like Borderlands. I like the games.
I don't know how a movie's going to work out.
It'd be neat, but it's just the trailers make it look like a Saturday Night Live sketch. It just doesn't.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know about it. The other thing, I didn't include this, but he apparently was just recently cast. They're doing a Minecraft movie adaptation, and Jack Black was cast.
Jason Momoa too, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
I didn't even know this was happening.
Jack Black.
It's Minecraft. Was it going to be 2 hours of him digging? I mean, what?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm a blocky man, and I'm digging for gold.
No, it's going to be more along the lines of the Last of Us adaptation. It's very gritty. Very gritty.
I missed the Minecraft train pretty hard. So like, I don't know.
You're an adult.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't either. It's just like Roblox. I don't know anything about that.
I only know about Roblox because of my nephews.
Right.
And I know it's awful.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those money-making things.
Some of the smaller parts in the movie include Ray J, Cedric Williams, Byron and Louise's son. Yes, that Ray J that made Kim Kardashian famous through a sex tape.
Ugh.
Yep.
Now I can't watch those scenes.
Nope. Nope.
Not that I ever saw the tape of.
I actually never did.
I don't think I did.
I never did. I didn't even realize it was like a year after when I realized that people were making a big deal of it, and I was like, oh, like I didn't. It just kind of passed by me.
Ugh.
Yeah. Brandon Hammond was cast as Neville Williams, Byron and Louise's other son. He played the young Michael Jordan in Space Jam.
Yeah, he was also in Menace to Society.
Oh, was he?
He played one of the younger versions of the kid.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's best known, I think, for Soul Food when he was a little kid.
Yes.
That was like his biggest role.
Okay.
And yeah, the kid had a great career.
Oh, yeah. He writes and directs short films now. He doesn't act anymore.
Nice.
Joe Don Baker was cast as Glenn Norris, Richie's father.
I love Joe Don Baker.
Oh, Joe Don Baker.
Oh, Joe Don Baker.
Baker appeared in the pilot episode of 1968's Lancer, titled The High Riders, as the main villain, Day Pardee.
I'm Day Pardee. I'm a villain. I'm going to get you.
The role was later fictionalized in Quentin Tarantino's 2019 film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, changed to Decato, and played by Leonardo DiCaprio as Rick Dalton.
That's the one where he's with the little girl?
Phoebe and I just rewatched this on Sunday night. I have no idea why. She hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, let's do it. Stayed up way too late watching this movie, but neither of us could fall asleep. It was like, we have to watch the end of this movie.
Did the same thing a couple months ago.
Such a good scene. Like, him and that little girl. That little girl is so good.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, it's him realizing he's washed up, and, like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love that movie so much.
Well, I did a better job, Joe Don Baker.
Olan Jones was cast as Sue Ann Norris.
Whoa. Don't forget that Joe Don Baker was in Walking Tall as the sheriff with the bat.
Yeah.
That was his biggest role.
I kind of figured we'd eventually cover that, which is why I'm just skipping over everything.
But he, again, man.
He was seminal in 70s and 80s cinema.
But he and Olan nailed it, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
so perfect.
They're both so weird.
But still, like, the grief and everything, it's like it's a goofy character, but the performance is so real with both of them.
Yeah. I mean, their son died. Their son was killed by aliens.
Wrong one, Dad.
On TV.
Yeah.
Like, it was, Olan's first name comes from the Chinese heroine of the novel The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck.
I knew that sounded familiar. I knew it.
Her father left the family when she was a child. Her mother, Scarlett Johnson, not Scarlett Johansson as I continuously read it in my head,
right,
a self-described free spirit, moved their family for a year to a remote Mayan village in the Yucatan jungle when Jones was 15 years old.
That's probably why she's so weird.
Afterwards, I didn't include any of this because, again, I think we'll cover Olan Jones in a different movie at some point.
We have to.
But she eventually moved when Olan turned 18, they moved out of the jungle and went to New York. And her mother was dating some guy named Johnny Dark, and he was best friends with Sam Shepard. And Olan Jones eventually married Sam Shepard.
Weird.
And they were married for like 8 years, had a couple kids together. Like, it was just, but she was dating her mother's boyfriend's best friend. Like, it was just weird. The whole thing was weird.
Well, she is a fascinating.
She is absolutely
person.
fascinating, and definitely we've got to cover her in the future. Christina Applegate was cast as Sharona, Billy Glenn's girlfriend in Trailer Park Lover.
First time I realized that in all the times I've seen it.
There's only one shot where it's actually obvious it's her.
In the last shot?
She's literally banging somebody else after Billy Glenn dies, and then she gets killed.
Her only line.
What's that? She only had one line in the film, despite appearing in 257 episodes of Married with Children.
Well, I don't think... I think a few of... like... her and Danny DeVito, I think they just kind of did it because it would be fun.
Sure. No. I know. And she was great at it. I mean, the little bit she had, she was great.
Because she had already done The Babysitter's Dead, or did she already do that one?
I think that may have been before, I don't recall.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
It might have been after.
Which they're doing a remake of that, did you know?
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's with an all-African-American cast.
I think it actually was done after, because technically she was still on when this film was shooting. Because Married with Children ran until 97.
Yeah.
Which I did not realize.
God, for like 8 seasons, yeah.
Not 10 seasons.
Yeah, because it started in 88.
87 to 97.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous, because the show is silly.
Well, I
It
mean,
is literally the longest running single joke ever in a movie.
it
in a
launched
show.
Fox. I mean,
did,
that
it did.
and the Tracy Ullman Show, and then The Simpsons. That was Fox.
Will be covering it at some point.
Hey, Peg. Yeah, I don't like you, Peg. No, I have sex with you, Peg.
Ah, come on, have sex with me.
I ain't gonna do it, Peg. That's just basically the
That's
show.
it. That's the whole show. That's every episode.
And then, Christine Applegate walking around in a skimpy outfit, acting dumb, and then the son acting like a creep,
Bud trying to get laid all the time. But they got the neighbors. Neighbors are great. Amanda Beard. Or Bierce?
Yeah.
Amanda Bierce.
Yep.
Who eventually directed most of the episodes.
Yeah.
It was, anyway, I know way more about Married Children than I should.
Well, it was what it was.
Brian Haley was cast as Mitch, the Secret Service officer who protects the president.
Oh, you know his face.
He is a great character actor. He may best be known for his roles as Vico, the incompetent kidnapper, in the movie Baby's Day Out. Which is, I want to say this because a friend of mine in college, it was literally his favorite movie because of just how dumb it was and how improbable it was.
Okay.
Like, he couldn't not watch it every time it came on.
It was a Warner Brothers cartoon. I mean, the whole thing with, like, walking on the girders
Yeah,
and everything,
yeah.
that was
It
like
totally
an
was,
overused
yeah.
trope from cartoons, from
so stupid.
Popeye to Bugs Bunny. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody did it. It was like, I watched Sweet Pea on the Popeye cartoon
Right.
do exactly
Yeah,
what the baby
yeah.
did.
It really was like a live-action cartoon.
Popeye.
Yeah.
It was basically just what Sweet Pea did.
Right.
And everybody thought it was Sweet Pea, but it was Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea. Yeah, Sweet. She was Sweet.
Sweet Pea.
Brian Haley also was in the over-the-top football. He was also cast as the over-the-top football father, Mike Hammersmith, a.k.a. Spike's dad in Little Giants. He was Clint Eastwood's son, Mitch, in the movie Gran Torino.
He was really good in
Really
that.
good in that. He was also Bud Bronsky in season 7 of Wings, the sitcom.
Sure.
I really liked Wings. I thought it was done well.
Yeah, by season 7, they were all phoning it in.
Yeah. It was from the same guys that created Cheers and Frasier.
Yeah, no.
And it was definitely much like both those shows. Got a little long on the tooth by the end.
Tim Daly, Tyne Daly's brother,
Yeah.
and Steven Weber, who was in
Steven
a bunch
Weber.
of Stephen King miniseries.
He played in The Shining. He was in The Shining.
And that dude that played Sandman in the
Oh yeah, Brian Hayden Church, Thomas
Thomas
Hayden
Hayden
Church.
Yes, Brian Thomas
Got there
Hayden
eventually.
Riley
Got there
Church.
eventually. Other notable actors to appear in the film include
Willie Garson as corporate guy, John Rosalius as CNN boss, Michael Riley Burke and Valerie Wildman as GNN reporters, Rebecca Broussard as a hooker, Steve Valentine as TV director, and Enrique Castillo as Hispanic colonel, John Finnegan as Speaker of the House, Greg Daniel as lab technician, and J. Kenneth Campbell as a doctor.
Rance Howard also has a small part as a Texas investor, while voice actor Frank Welker provided the voices of the Martians, both of whom did work in Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, everybody was in it. And all those guys that we mentioned, you like Willie Garson, you'll know from...
Oh, yeah. He was in
the
Sex and the City.
Sex and the City, and also Something About Mary.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, and John Rosalius has been in everything.
Right.
You'll know him from...
It's just a bunch of character actors that what's his name again?
Yep.
Thousands of them in this movie.
That and then a bunch of stars.
Yeah. Roger L. Jackson, best known as the voice of Ghostface in the Scream film franchise, makes an uncredited appearance as the voice of the Martian translator device.
So great.
His performance in Mars Attacks actually helped him get the audition for Scream.
We come in peace. We come in peace.
Listen,
They came in peace.
listen to our episode about Scream to hear more about Roger L. Jackson.
That's right.
God, it's so great. The whole thing. I just love that it was just constantly like, oh yeah, I almost got it. Working on the translator device.
Yeah.
And then it's just like everyone's sitting around like, come on, man.
And it's got that totally retro,
Yeah.
dials. And
Has to record it and then play it back. Like it's just. The film was originally scheduled to start mid-August '95, but filming was delayed until February 26th, 1996.
how come?
I believe it was script. They were still working on the script. Burton insisted that the art direction, cinematography, and costume design of Mars Attacks incorporate the look of the 1960s trading cards.
Sweet.
Filming for Mars Attacks ended on June 1st, 1996. which is not a very long considering the 1,000 people in the movie.
I know.
The film score was composed by Burton's regular composer Danny Elfman, to whom Burton was reconciled with after a quarrel that occurred during The Nightmare Before Christmas, for which they did not cooperate in producing Ed Wood the next year.
Interesting. Do you know what that was about?
No, I didn't look it up. I don't know what the argument was, but it was odd because technically Burton produced it. He didn't direct it. He wrote the movie and he produced it. But something happened. And whatever it was enough for them to get over it within a couple years. I mean, because he's the only movie of his that Danny Elfman's not scored was Ed Wood.
Yeah.
I mean, literally everything since then.
A lot of it sounded, I kept going, here comes Halloween, here
there's
comes
definitely
Halloween.
a lot of that in this movie.
Yes.
Elfman enlisted the help of Oingo Boingo lead guitarist Steve Bartek to help arrange the compositions for the orchestra.
To this day, it absolutely blows my mind that the lead singer of Oingo Boingo, whom I love, I saw Oingo Boingo perform at a homecoming dance in San Diego in the early 80s, and they were amazing then. I've seen them a ton of times. I saw them a ton of times back in the day, and I love Oingo Boingo, and it's just, it baffles me, and it also doesn't, because
the music's really good.
And if you listen to Boingo, it's very orchestral. I mean, it's got a very, it's very produced.
Oh, yeah.
Dead man's party, who can ask for more? Everybody's coming, leave your body at the door.
I actually did see Steve Bartek and a bunch of the other guys from Oingo Boingo still perform together. I think they call it Dead Man's Party.
Nice.
But it's I saw them perform after Midsummer Scream a number of years ago with Bear McCreary's brother actually was doing the singing for them, which at the time I had no idea. But it was good. They were really good. They were really fun.
Nice.
Tim Burton initially intended to use stop-motion animation to feature the Martians, viewing it as an homage to the work of Ray Harryhausen, primarily Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of his stuff was stop-motion. You know, Beetlejuice and Scissorhands.
He definitely preferred that over CGI.
Yeah.
Similar to his own Beetlejuice, Burton
wanted to make the special effects look cheap and purposely fake-looking as possible.
He first approached Henry Selick, the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas, to supervise the stop-motion work, but Selick was busy directing James and the Giant Peach, which was also produced by Tim Burton.
I loved that book so much as a kid. A, because the name was James.
Right.
My name. And B, I always loved, stuff where you would live in something weird, like a beach. It just...
Giant peach.
Yeah. I just loved that conceit of living in something that wasn't supposed to be lived in, and the way that they just traveled around on the peach, and you could just grab a piece of peach and eat it, and you could just do whatever they want. It was just the coolest.
Was it also because of your love of peaches
and
your nickname Jimmy Peach?
Jimmy Peaches. Yeah, I always had a peach. I always had a peach in my hand.
Always a peach. You're such a peach.
Kitty. Quit eating them peaches, Jimmy Peaches.
Despite the fact that Warner Brothers was skeptical of the escalating budget and had not yet greenlit the film for production, Burton hired Barry Purvis to shepherd the stop-motion work. Purvis created an international team of about 70 animators who worked on Mars Attacks for 8 months and began compiling test footage in Burbank.
Oh, God, could you imagine the amount of work and models and everything that you made?
The department workers studied Gloria Swanson's choreography and movement as Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard for inspiration on the Martians' movements.
That's hilarious.
When the budget was projected at $100 million, and Warner Brothers didn't want it for more than $75 million, producer Larry J. Franco commissioned a test reel from Industrial Light and Magic, the visual effects company he worked with on Jumanji. Burton was persuaded to change his mind to employ computer animation, which brought the final production budget to $80 million. Yeah,
they did a really good job. The aliens all had their own bit of personality.
Yeah.
I mean, even the ones in the background, they did a good job of, they're so similar, but you're like, I know that guy.
They're still individuals. Yeah, because
exactly.
the perfect example is the first time they come out, they get the head alien or whatever, higher up alien ambassador comes out in the red robe, and the guys are in the back, 4 guys in the back, and as things are happening, they're all looking around, they're doing the thing that they would do if they were on an alien planet.
Yeah,
it's this stuff is weird. What is going on?
Yeah, it was very well done.
Yeah. Although Purvis was uncredited for his work, stop motion supervisors Ian McKinnon and Peter Saunders, who would later collaborate with Burton on Corpse Bride, received character design credit.
Okay.
Warner Digital Studios was responsible for the scenes of global destruction, airborne flying flying saucer sequences, the Martian landing in Nevada, and the robot that chases Richie Norris in his pickup truck.
That's such a cool part.
I love that design of that robot. It's so great.
Well, everything is just so retro sci-fi.
Yeah.
I mean, it just could have come out of the 50s.
I love that look. Warner Digital also used practical effects, such as building scale models of Big Ben and other landmarks. The destruction of Artland's hotel was footage of the real-life nighttime demolition of the Landmark Hotel and Casino, a building Burton wished to immortalize.
Yeah, I love it when guys do. They did that, too, on Lethal Weapon 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Donner is like, they're going to knock down a building. Let's get it. Let's get in there.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
They did it. And I always like when they find out that they're going to destroy a building and they use it in their movies.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Warner Digital also did the Washington Monument, where the alien actively tried to smash Boy Scouts.
It was those little moments, those like snarky little moments that give the film so much personality.
So great. Warner Brothers spent $20 million on the movie's marketing campaign. Together with the $80 million spent during production, the final combined budget came to $100 million.
I'm going to say this, because we talked about this during the Independence Day show. The Independence Day promotional campaign was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
One of the very first trailers to be shown during the Super Bowl, which started it all. I mean, now all just premieres of trailers, but they really knew how to market it. They really knew how to market that movie, and I think the exact opposite happened with Mars Attacks. They didn't know how, so they're like, well, let's just kind of market it like Independence Day, and not show people that this is a ridiculous satire of these movies,
Yeah. The film was released in the United States on December 13th, 1996, earning $9.38 million in its opening weekend. Overall, it would rank in second place at the box office below Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money.
Mars Attacks eventually made $37.77 million in U.S. totals and $63.6 million elsewhere, coming to a worldwide total of $101.37 million.
Yeah, made $1.37 million profit.
The film was considered a box office bomb in the U.S., but generally achieved greater success both critically and commercially in Europe. Many observers found similarities with Independence Day, which also came out in 1996.
It was just a coincidence. Nobody told me about it. I was surprised how close it was. But then, it's a pretty basic genre, I guess. Independence Day was different in tone. It was different in everything. It almost seemed like we had done kind of a Mad Magazine version of Independence Day.
Yeah. And it's good.
Yes.
I mean, it is worthy of being a Mad Magazine version of Independence Day.
As somebody who usually preferred the Mad Magazine satire to the original, boom, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it had that sense of humor. It was wicked in parts. I mean, wickedly funny.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a weird tone. I'm not surprised that it was received better in Europe because it just and it also satirized America in a perfect way that Europeans are like, it's Americans.
Look how real this is.
Burger eating assholes.
This is just how it is. This is exactly like America. Yeah.
It's exactly how I believe America to be.
The movie received mixed reviews from critics. Roger Ebert observed the homages to the 1950s science fiction B-movies.
Edward himself could have told us what's wrong with this movie. The makers felt superior to the material. To be funny, even schlock has to believe in itself. Look for Inframan or Invasion of the B-Girls and you'll find movies that lack stars and big budgets and fancy special effects, but are funny and fun in ways that Burton's mega production never really understands.
Blow that out so hard.
That's just a recording. That was from At the Movies.
Yeah. I disagree with him. I usually agree with Ebert on a lot of stuff, but I disagree that I don't think the makers felt superior to the material.
Not at all. Not at all.
Tim Burton adores this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the performances of, like, Pierce Brosnan. It wasn't that there was an arrogance to the characters.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
That was necessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the satire, is these arrogant idiots who are like, well, shoot him up. Rod Steiger was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. And it just like Ripley was right from the very beginning of Alien.
Right.
He was right too. And I think he knew He was right from his character was right from the beginning, and the level of frustration that his character feels builds
Right.
to the end, where he's just like,
I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
and I think is the brilliance of the movie.
Right.
Is that the characters are so typically American in terms of their hubris.
Yeah.
That it I don't know. I think he completely missed the point.
I think you're right. Richard Schickel, writing in Time magazine, gave a positive review.
You have to admire everyone's chutzpah. The breadth of Burton and writer Jonathan Jem's movie references, which range from Kurosawa to Kubrick, and above all, the refusal to offer us a single likable character. Perhaps they don't create quite enough deeply funny earthlings to go around, but a thoroughly mean-spirited big-budget movie is always a treasurable rarity. Although I do disagree with him. There were likable characters.
I know. I agree.
You know,
Richie and Grandma and Byron and his wife and Pam Grier and it's like, there are likable characters.
they're the ones who surviped.
Yeah.
The likable
Taffy. Taffy's
Taffy.
The one of the best likable characters.
Taffy was just an ignored,
Her opening the door. People live here,
Yeah. It was just also that awkward at the ending where she's like, I'm giving this on behalf of my parents.
Yeah, it was like part of my thought was when she showed up, I was like, oh, did she become president now?
Yeah, well, who knows? It's like, you don't have to kiss me if you don't want to. I think it's law. It was just so cute. They were so cute together, just a couple of dumb teenagers, you know? And then, the ending is like strangely hopeful.
Yeah.
And the speech that he gives. About
it's so weird.
Maybe we'll live in teepees because it's been in a lot of ways
there's
better.
There's a lot of good things about teepees. This is typically what a weird 16-year-old would say.
And the brilliance of the way that the aliens were defeated.
Yes.
With Grandma's music with Slim Whitman.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're gonna make my head explode. Funny side story. I didn't include this, but funny side story. Howard Stern apparently in 1982 had when he was very first starting in radio, had a whole bit where aliens invaded and he played Slim Whitman to kill them.
Oh,
and he had Tim Burton on. Like, he actually had a tape of it. Like, he could play it and be like, I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Like, it actually happened. And Tim Burton listened to it and he's like, wow, you should have sued me.
He probably didn't. I mean, I
don't think Howard Stern gave a. I don't think he cared.
Well, plus it was based on the tops. I mean, Stern.
I mean, but it was just funny that it was. Although, and also, I will say, I did not include this either, which I should have. But Jonathan Gems did not realize there was an actual story with the cards. He just looked at the front of them and based everything off of the images, and that was it.
That's hilarious. What was the story like?
The story was that they come down, and the unrelated, or not the unreleased stuff, there was actually 2 different tribes of Martians. There were good ones that had an extra eye, and then this warlike one. And the warlike one were the ones that came down to destroy Earth.
Oh.
But they eventually, they have a bunch of different, freeze rays and, all this stuff. And halfway through, they make insects really big. So, 10 or 12 of the cards are just giant insects destroying things.
Ooh.
But eventually, they end up going to Mars and destroying Mars.
Nice.
So anyway, the whole point of all this is that this movie is just brilliant.
Oh my God. I remember, because I was working at ILM when this movie was being made. I remember going to sneaking onto the sets. I remember seeing some of the stuff get blown up. I was so excited about this movie.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Burton, and I was a fan of Mad Magazine, EC Comics, all of the stuff that this is based around is totally in my wheelhouse. Saw it on opening day and loved it. I was so disappointed that it didn't do better.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy Independence Day. I find it is a fun movie to watch with friends. But watching Mars Attacks, every time I see it, I notice something different.
Yeah.
Or I've aged a bit and I see it in a different light.
Right.
And something else speaks to me that didn't speak to me before. And I'm always just blown away by the amazing comic performances by some of the best dramatic actors out there. And just how much fun it seems like everybody was having in this movie. It's not only like a throwback and a love letter to old sci-fi. It's a love letter to old Hollywood. It's just made It's made by and with people that love movies.
Yes.
I'm not saying Roland Emmerich and those guys don't love movies.
No, and there's nothing wrong with Independence Day.
No.
It's a great popcorn movie. You can sit down and not think about it.
Exactly.
Technically, with Mars Attacks, you can sit down and not think about it either. But if you do,
Yeah.
you're going to get so much more out of it.
It's what you get when you give a really great filmmaker the reins to a disaster film.
Right.
Because there is so much personality, love him or hate him, there is so much personality and uniqueness to everything that Tim Burton does.
Yeah.
And especially, 80s, 90s Tim Burton, when he still had passion. I'm just kidding.
No, well, when he didn't rely as much on CG and like all that, like his newer movies are just. I'm hoping that Beetlejuice is better.
Me too.
Because it seems like he's gone back to doing practical effects.
The Mad Hatter movies and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the Alice in Wonderland stuff.
It just seems soulless.
Yes.
It had his quirky looks. It had that kind of stuff. But either the writer isn't as good or he's just not as interested. And I think you're right. I think when there's models and stuff
Real.
to get his hands on,
Yeah.
it engages him more.
Yes.
Because the special effects part, he's, that's like, this is what I want you to do, and that's what
yeah.
they do, and they keep coming back. It's like not as hands-on. And
All the Alice in Wonderland stuff it's just a lot of people on green screens, and like it's just not as interesting.
And let's be honest, as you get older, it's harder and harder to carry on that youthful exuberance that you have
Yeah, that's true.
for filmmaking,
That is very true.
And ups and downs and ins and outs
Right.
and creative partners leaving and divorces and all of this creates something, and plus he became one of the biggest directors in the world,
Yeah.
I mean, around the time he was making Planet of the Apes and this and stuff, he was one of the bigger guys, and I think that is kind of a detriment to a filmmaker like Tim Burton, because when he's kind of the underdog and when he's kind of flying under the radar and he's the bit of the subversive guy, he's more of I've always seen Tim Burton as kind of a bridge between Hollywood and like John Waters,
Yeah, I can see that.
And he was kind of the step in the middle. Like you could enjoy him on multiple levels.
A little weird still, but more mainstream.
Exactly.
Like
You
more accessible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could enjoy his movies on different levels. And that's what this movie is.
This movie is 100% that.
And I think a lot of people thought this was just going to be Airplane. It was going to be a send-up of these movies.
Right.
And it wasn't. It was its own entity.
It was a love letter to these movies.
And through deceptive marketing, or not say deceptive, but
poor marketing.
Poor marketing. And this is not the kind of movie that studio heads get. They scratch their heads. They don't get it.
No. God, no. Depth? Layers? No.
But it has gone on to be a great cult classic. And, even if the critics don't like it, the audiences do.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen this movie, oh my God, do yourself a favor.
Find it.
You're going to see some of your favorite actors being goofy and fun. And if you haven't seen it in a while, watch it, because honestly, with a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the world in the last couple of decades, at least the last, 7, 8 years, it's really even more prescient today.
It's not that far off.
Which is even
from
depressing.
How some of this stuff works. Yeah.
I almost feel like
I didn't even think about that. Thank you.
I almost feel like this is more of the realistic response to this type of invasion than Independence Day or any of these other movies. But my God, this is just such a fun movie and a pure joy to watch. Get yourself a couple of beers and a couple of friends and throw this on.
Yeah, find it. It pops up on streaming once in a while, but you can buy a DVD of it for less than $5 on eBay. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with Armageddon. Oh shit, I don't remember.
Leroy Boobins.
Leroy Boobins. Yep, good old Leroy Boobins.
Yep.
Star of Alex Cox's Mars Attacks.
After seeing the Towering Inferno, it came to me. After seeing the Towering Inferno, it came to me very. God damn it! This is gonna be one of those times. After seeing the Towering Inferno, it all came to me fairly quickly, and in about a week. After seeing the Towering Inferno, it came to me fairly quickly, And in about a... God, what is... We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. 21 Jump Street. Already in progress.